The United States is on track to hit $50 trillion in national debt by the end of 2028. That's right, $50 trillion. What does this mean for the economy? And more importantly, could it threaten the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency? Stay with me as we break down what this could mean for you, your family, and the future of the American way of life. First, let's talk about how we got here. The U.S. national debt is already over $33 trillion, and it's growing fast. Why? Well, a few big factors are driving this surge. Increased government spending on programs like Social Security, Medicare, and defense. Rising interest rates, which make borrowing more expensive for the government. And slower economic growth, which means less tax revenue. To make matters worse, we're paying more just to service this debt, meaning interest payments alone are becoming one of the largest expenses in the federal budget. Historically, countries have gotten away with high levels of debt when their economies grow fast enough to outpace it. But here's the problem. Our growth isn't keeping up, and our debt-to-GDP ratio is now over 120%. That's a serious red flag. So why does this matter? It's because of the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. Since World War II, the U.S. dollar has been the king of global finance. It's the currency central banks and governments around the world rely on for stability. And this has given the U.S. some incredible advantages: lower borrowing costs, the ability to print money without immediate consequences, and global economic influence. But here's the catch. If the world loses confidence in the dollar because of our skyrocketing debt, this privilege could disappear. And believe me, that would change everything. The big question is, when would the dollar lose its reserve currency status? It all comes down to confidence. Right now, countries like China and Russia are already working to reduce their reliance on the dollar. You've probably heard about BRICS countries discussing alternatives to the dollar for international trade. If our debt continues to spiral and we rely too much on printing money, we could see a tipping point, where the rest of the world starts to look for a more stable option. It's happened before. Just look at the British pound, which lost its reserve status after World War II. And while this might sound far-fetched, it's not impossible. History shows us that reserve currencies don't stay on top forever. So, what happens if the dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency? Let me break it down. First, we'd see a sharp rise in inflation. Why? Because a weaker dollar means higher costs for imports like food, electronics, and oil. Second, interest rates would skyrocket. Mortgages, car loans, and credit card debt would all become way more expensive. And third, our financial markets could collapse as foreign investors pull their money out of U.S. bonds and stocks. This could trigger a recession, or worse. But it doesn't stop there. Losing reserve currency status wouldn't just affect our wallets. It would hit America's global influence. Our ability to fund military operations, negotiate trade deals, and maintain our leadership on the world stage would shrink. And for regular Americans, it could mean a lower standard of living and fewer opportunities for future generations. Now, I know this sounds pretty grim, but the good news is there are steps you can take to protect yourself and your family. Here's what you can do. 1. Diversify your investments. Don't put all your money into one basket. Consider a mix of stocks, bonds, real estate, and even alternatives like gold or cryptocurrencies. Precious metals, for example, are a classic hedge against inflation. 2. Build an emergency fund. Having cash reserves can help you weather short-term economic shocks. 3. Reduce debt. Pay off high-interest loans like credit cards so you're not caught off guard if rates go up even more. America's rising debt and the potential loss of the dollar's reserve currency status is one of the biggest economic challenges of our time. But awareness is the first step toward action. By making smart financial choices, advocating for sound policies, and building strong communities, we can protect ourselves and work toward a more sustainable future. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on the economy and personal finance. Let's stay informed and prepared. Together we can face the future head-on.